Hi, and welcome to the EvilTester show. This is a New Year special. It's January 2018. Probably take me a couple of months before I remembered to write down 2018 instead of 2017, but that's just how my head works. So at this point in January, some of you may already have given up on your New Year's resolutions. You might have stopped already. That's the benefit of New Year's resolutions. They're things that we can say, well, it's after the new year now, I'll just not do those. And I'm not actually sure that I set New Year's resolutions. I think what I do is I set goals. I set goals that I believe in. I create work plans and adjust my expectations based on what I actually do. And I do change my mind as I'm going through based on the experience that I have of trying to fulfill that goal. But the reason I'm talking about this in a testing podcast, not just because it's New Year and some of you got New Year's resolutions, but also because I use my testing skills to do that. I use my testing skills to help me make resolutions or stick to the progress that I want to make about goals. Because our testing skills are all about that. We have to plan things, we have to check whether things are working, we have to ask questions to make sure the requirements are correct. All of that is part of the resolution process. Because, what is a resolution? It's not just a New Year thing. Essentially, we can make resolutions every day in terms of the tasks we want to do, and I do recommend that. But a resolution is a decision. It's a decision that we have made. We've resolved to do something. So fundamentally, it's a requirement. So we have to look at it with our testing skills and say things like, well, a decision for what? What is it we're trying to do? And get those aspects correct. If you just say, I want to lose weight, why? Why do you want to lose weight? Are you trying to lose weight for yourself, for your health? You're trying to lose weight for other people so that they will look at you differently. Why are you doing this? Why is an important thing? Because why is a belief question. And some of the things we do sit on a bedrock of belief. There's no other reason for them. It's just, I'm doing this because I believe that ultimately in the long run this will be good for me. It's a belief. And if that's fine, right? If it's one of our beliefs and we have a strong bedrock for it, we can push through. As long as we know why we're doing it. Because sometimes there might be other ways of achieving that goal. I want to lose weight. Why? To get healthier. Maybe there's other ways of getting healthier. Maybe there's other ways of achieving your weight loss goal that also allow you to get healthier. Maybe it's not just dieting. Maybe it's swimming. Maybe it's doing exercise. Maybe it's dieting and swimming. Maybe it's not even dieting. Maybe it's changing the way that you eat, what you eat and what you drink. There's lots of things around that, but only when you understand the ultimate reason and goal will you be able to do that. Now, a lot of people recommend that you should set your goals super high. And some people don't like setting their goals super high because if they set their goals super high and they get latched on that goal and they might not achieve it, then they feel bad because it's a belief thing. We put our hopes and expectations into this. And that's part of the belief process, right? Because beliefs are important. Now in testing, the beliefs are really, well, who's the stakeholder? Who believes in this? And why do they believe in this? And what ultimately do they want to achieve? Because if we know what they want to achieve, then we can measure it. We can try and go, are we on track to do this? We can build a plan. We will be able to say, how will we know we have achieved this? How will we know that you have lost weight? Well, I will measure it. How often will you measure it? I will measure my weight 3 times a day. And then I'll get really depressed because I'm getting too much feedback that's not telling me of any progress whatsoever. We need to check in at the points where we've made progress. But we know this from exploratory testing. When we do exploratory testing, we break things down into small chunks. And we don't debrief every 3 minutes because we haven't done anything. We might split the session into 15 minutes. That's a pretty small session, half an hour, whatever it is to give us the time to achieve something so we can then do a debrief and feedback to see if we need to adjust. So some people don't like setting big goals because they're scared they might not achieve it. But if you set your goal too small, you might not achieve anything meaningful. So we've got a balance there. But what is interesting is that with exploratory testing, we often set huge goals, right? Not even goals, they're just areas we want to explore. There's a potential massive risk about payments failing. So, because there's too many systems interconnected. So we want to explore that. That's massive. So we tackle it in small chunks and go, what risks are there? Which system will we target first? And we do it in small increments with each experiment leading us to the next one because we're learning things. It doesn't matter if we don't hit the full thing because we split it into small chunks where each one of those chunks added value. If you're trying to, lose 3 stone in weight, it doesn't matter if you don't hit the 3 stone in weight, provided you actually take action and you go to the gym and you change your diet and your weight does drop. Maybe it's not weight that you care about. Maybe it's the belt size and the number of notches. Your weight might stay the same, but your belt notches might go down. You might be measuring the wrong thing, but ultimately achieve your goal of getting healthier and having a smaller waistline. Maybe, I don't know what it is. But very often people fail with resolutions because they've set a huge goal and they've tried to plan everything out from the start, and the planning process takes forever. It's like a giant waterfall New Year's resolution where there's no agility. A lot of the things that I do in testing I've learned from cybernetics, and cybernetics when it started and all the way through focused on the notion of feedback, right? We have a goal, we have an end goal in mind, we try and move towards it. Then we have feedback. Am I still on track? Yes, that's positive feedback. No, okay, that's negative feedback. I probably want to try a different strategy. Yes, we're still on track, but I still have to decide, am I on track because I took action? Because the actions I'm still going on, can I do this better? Those feedback processes and constant re-evaluating. Are we in line for the end goal? Do we need to do something different? Am I adopting the right strategies? Can I make this more efficient? Are all important parts of our process, and they come really down into an agile way of working and an exploratory testing. With agile, we have a big goal. We want a system that we're trying to do, but we build it in small increments where each one is a self-contained value add. Going to the gym is a self-contained value add. Writing a blog post, if you want to write a book, is a self-contained value add. All of these things are little steps that are achievable, that help you achieve your end goal, and even if you miss the end goal, you've still achieved a whole lot as you did it. So you need to know what you need to know in order to follow through on a resolution. What do we need? We need resolve. It's in there in the world. We need commitment. So how will you know that you've got commitment? Because you take action. Well, what action are you going to take? Well, you need to have a plan. You need to start breaking that down. What is your first action? How are you going to do this? If your action is to procrastinate, well, I will write a book this year. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on courses to learn how to write books. No, chances are you probably want to just try, right? Experiment, take some action. Maybe writing the book is the wrong goal. Maybe getting your thoughts out and putting your thoughts out in order is a better goal. I don't know. But the questions we ask as testers are, well, how will you know? What will that mean? When will we do this? Have we done this? All these action points, all these questions. So how will you know you're going to be committing to taking action? Because you will have built a set of steps and you will be able to look at them in your calendar, and you will know then whether you have done them or not, and you will have the feedback process built in. All of this is part of your test planning, and it's what you need for your resolutions. You also know that you cannot test everything. Therefore, there's a prioritization in place. And really, to be successful with resolutions, you have to learn how to say no. Because most people are already pretty busy. And if you then go, and here's my next resolution, what did you give up in order to do that? Most people are already too busy. I mean, I said no to a bunch of conferences last year because there are goals I want to hit and focus on. The conferences would have distracted me from that. Over Christmas, a new opportunity came in for something that was really exciting, but I said no because I couldn't commit to that and achieve some other things I really want to do. Now, this is me prioritizing based on my beliefs about what I want to achieve, but I have to say no. because we can't test everything. And if we're really going to commit, really going to resolve, that often means we have to say no in order to squeeze that in, to squeeze the actions in that we have to take in order to get something done. Now, part of testing is the ability to question other people. We should use that skill when goal setting and question ourselves, our beliefs, our plans, our outcomes. Are they the right outcomes? All of our testing skills around questioning are vital for this. And how will you know that you're doing it? How will you know that you're doing the right thing? How will you know that you're... So all of this is our testing information. So for me, with resolutions, the biggest things are setting goals. I need to know what I'm trying to achieve. I need to know why I'm doing stuff, because I need that belief bedrock to keep me going, because things are hard, particularly when you start learning stuff. And I write it down. I know that I need to plan it, because that helps me keep on track, and I can keep committed, and I can see whether I'm actually doing the things I need to do to get something done. I can see if I'm taking action. I mean, I have 7 relatively big projects I want to try and do in quarter 1 of this year. So I have to plan that pretty well in order to keep track and make progress. But I'll do it in small steps, because it's important to explore your way to success. Little steps, little experiments, little feedback cycles. And then you can reevaluate your end goal if you want to or need to. You can decide whether you've done enough, whether you want to change tack and pick in a different resolution and drop this one because it's more important, because you've made enough gains and enough goals. All of this is part of the testing process, the test planning process, the test investigation process, the ability to come up with checks so you know how things are being done, to check whether you are making progress. Now, I'm going to recommend 2 books this time, even though it's really the same one. It's a book called The Structure of Magic, Structure of Magic Volume 1, Structure of Magic Volume 2. Now, these really set out the heart of what is called neuro-linguistic programming. And they're books about language, and it's the language that therapists used with clients. So this is a model of 5 to 10 therapists that were very effective and very different, but they all verbally worked with their clients. And this is trying to deconstruct what those therapists did, like Virginia Satir, Fritz Perls, Frank Farley, Milton Erickson, looking at all these people to see what language structures they use. Why did they ask that question at that point in time? What action or what result did that trigger in the patient when that question was asked? Because a question alone can trigger changes. So these books are about asking questions effectively, and a structure and a model for asking questions. And what's really interesting about this is a model. Because it's a model of what Bandler and Grinder thought were important, they may have left things out. So it's important that we then go, after having studied this, to go and study Virginia Satir and Fritz Perls and Frank Farley and Milton Erickson and all these other people to see if we can spot anything new that is missing from this generic model that might be appropriate for our context as testers or for whatever resolutions or goals you're trying to achieve. If you want an introduction to this, I have a paper on my website, so compendiumdev.co.uk/page/NLP, so that's NLP for neuro-linguistic programming, compendiumdev.co.uk/page/NLP, and you should see a couple of papers there on NLP for testers, or just do a Google search for NLP for testers and it should be one of the 5th or so things on the Google list. So I think that's the end of this show, covering resolutions. Use your testing skills in your daily life to help you all the time. That will boost your testing skills. It will make you more effective, make you more productive. Resolutions are about setting goals, committing to them, saying no, tracking your progress. And remember, all the notes for this show are on eviltester.com/show. So thank you for joining me in this podcast in the new year, which is 2018, and I hope you manage to achieve your goals this year, or some of them, or at least commit to something, or at least decide to change your mind, or whatever. See you.